Echoes of Betrayal by Daniel Jappi, Maswi. Chapter 15. Where the Silence Begins. June 1st, 2009. It has been 2 weeks since I was arrested at my baby shower. A strange phrase to write, even stranger to live through. A few days ago, I made the mistake of logging onto Facebook, and I couldn't believe what I saw. The so-called friends, once warm and full of laughter, had turned into spectators of my misery. They feasted on my downfall like vultures on a wounded animal. Some said it was obvious my mind had gone off track. Others claimed I'd flown in a witch doctor from Africa, as though grief could be conjured away with spells. One even wrote that social workers should take my child as soon as it's born. Cruel, cruel, cruel. That was the last time I ever opened Facebook. Let them gossip in their dark corners. I won't be there to feed the flame. My phone rings on WhatsApp. I glance at the screen. It's Uncle. My stomach turns. "Hello, Uncle," I say, setting the phone on speaker as I rinse the last of the dishes. "If you're standing, please sit down, niece." My heart skips. My breath halts mid-motion. "Is my mother okay, Uncle?" "Please sit down," he says again, his voice thick with something I don't want to name. I'm sitting. My knees bend before my will does. I sink into the kitchen chair, my throat tight. "Is she okay?" "No, she is not." He pauses, and the crack in his voice is the sound of my world breaking. "I'm sorry, niece. Your mother has moved on. My sister is no more." He tells me she passed away peacefully at his home today. The last time she was discharged from the hospital, they told him not to bring her back. They said there was nothing more they could do. It was as if they had already turned off her life support, he says, switched off her future like a light bulb. I've dreaded this call ever since I returned from Zim barely 9 months ago. Being arrested at my baby shower felt like a curse with a name. Now it has come full circle. He had been updating me faithfully, and I sent money every time I could. But his voice never changed. He kept telling me she wasn't improving, that the nurses had stopped trying, the doctors had stopped hoping. Each time he called, I'd ask, "Is mother okay?" If he said yes, I would breathe. Just one breath. Then I'd force myself into small talk, pretending life was manageable. But all the while, I knew this day was coming. And yet, I never told him what had been happening in my own life since I left Zimbabwe. How sometimes my mind takes unpaid leave, slipping away without notice, leaving me stranded. But my mother's life was more urgent, more sacred. I tell myself I said goodbye to her. I said all I needed to say. Still, she has left behind a hole in me so vast, nothing will ever fill it. Not time, not prayer, not even love. It will stay open and aching until the day I die. I can't cry anymore. There are no tears left. Since I left Zim, life has wrung every drop from me. My grief has turned to dust. My heart as dry as Satan's heart. Not a crack for tears to pass through. When my brother didn't return from the liberation war, I didn't cry. There was no body to bury, no grave to kneel at. And now again my mother is gone, and I am too far away to touch her hand or close her eyes. I was raised without a father and in the cradle of poverty. My mother was the pillar. She sold vegetables outside our house to keep us fed, to pay school fees, to make sure the roof didn't cave in. She once told me she'd moved through many townships before settling in Magwegwe North, where my brother was born. She rented a single room, her lounge, dining room, kitchen and bedroom all in one. The toilet was outside. When we lived in Lobengula West, we were in a bigger house, 3 bedrooms. She sublet 2 rooms to lodgers and shared the third with me. Clever woman. She turned struggle into strategy. She didn't let opportunity slip past her fingers. My brother Kismore was only 17 when he left to join the war. I was just 2 years old. I never knew him really. I only met him through her stories. Her voice, a window into a life cut short. She said he was passionate, sharp beyond his years, burning for justice. But his sacrifice was hijacked by comrade moment of madness. He died for freedom, but was used by those who understood only power. Today, I mourn them both. Mama, sleep in peace, beautiful woman. May your soul rest in peace. I never knew my father. I stopped asking about him when I got older. My mother never spoke of him. Silence was his legacy. I wondered if my uncle knew him. All I ever knew was her and my uncle, who stood by her like a shadow in the sun. But his children, my cousins, never saw me as one of them. Maybe I was too different to fold into their circle. Today is the darkest day of my life. Ice has turned his back on me. I am alone, completely. I'm starting to question the purpose of it all. But even as I think it, guilt wraps itself around me. Because I am carrying a child. A life I have no right to betray with despair. And because my faith whispers that such thoughts are blasphemy. I cannot attend my mother's funeral. My last illegal journey to Zim sealed that door shut. I promise my uncle I'll send money. Buy her a white casket, I say. Feed everyone well, before and after the funeral. In our tradition, people gather for days. They sing, weep, talk, and remember. I want them to remember her laughter, her kindness, her fierce love. Not the body that no longer carries her soul. My life is unraveling. Ice and I barely speak, except when we're screaming at each other. I haven't even told him my mother has passed. We've fought before about the money I sent to my uncle. He said my uncle was exaggerating, milking sympathy. I asked him, so what if he was? He was there, in the room, watching over her while I was oceans away. That alone was worth everything I sent. Eventually, I stopped mentioning her. I locked her memory away from him, a treasure he didn't deserve to touch. Now, in our silence, there's peace. I no longer need to explain myself. And thank God for Molly. She's the only person left who doesn't make me feel like a mistake.
Every betrayal leaves an echo. Chapter 16 is coming next. Get your copy of Echoes of Betrayal on Amazon and Gumroad. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next chapter.